She just wanna turn up with her girls, get the stress.
Yo,
I thought he was gonna rerun that, you know.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I was enjoying that still. We're just here chatting about. You should see them two whispering in the corner and that.
Oh, one of them ones.
I don't know what she's up to over there.
I'm literally just reading my timeline. H asked me how the timeline works, so I'm just explaining it to him.
Oh, you don't have Twitter?
I have one, but
as in how many is supposed to have?
no, as in I have one, but it's just been set up and it's there.
Okay.
It just sits there.
But what an interesting conversation to start right now.
Yeah.
Because music was playing, innit?
Yeah.
No one would have known that's even.
But it's not like an easy answer. Like it's not just like a yeah.
The way she said it was like, you asked me how the timeline works.
That's an open question.
You gave me a very good answer that kind of wrapped up very.
What was the answer?
Concise, you get me?
There we go.
I said it's like Instagram, but just for words. Instead of pictures, you have words.
Okay.
See, I don't know. I feel like Twitter is personality, right? I don't even think words, like, it's just characters and stuff. Like Insta, I don't know, I can swipe up. But Twitter, if I actually get stuck on there, I'm spending like 3 hours clean on there just laughing.
What, on that one tweet?
No, just not one tweet, just loads of tweets, right? Because like you just see like threads or someone replied to something, like, especially, and it depends on the different types of Twitter. So like I have loads of Nigerian followers and they just kill me. Like the things that they say, especially those that are like back home, just absolutely floor me. And I end
you
up
got
just
the ones
laughing.
from back home.
Yeah.
Wizkid FC.
Yeah.
That Twitter.
That NS 10v10, they came out in full force.
100%.
Spartans, bruv.
I even see there's been a debate recently in regards to that. Is it Amapiano? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
I don't know if someone had tweeted out that they love the spin that we put on Amapiano with like, the Nigerian lyricism and.
I think it was the wording. I don't think there was anything wrong with it, but but then again, you know what? It's Twitter. You have 180 characters or 240. Like, you can't expect that much nuance in a tweet. But I think a lot of people kind of just blew out for no reason. But
do you know what? Like, people are they just want something to be angry about sometimes.
Miserable.
But sometimes it's justified though.
And I'm like, come on, man. Like, music is music, man. Everyone's just gonna like draw inspiration from somewhere. You like a sound, and like everyone's just expecting credit. Like, a lot of people know where it originates from, innit? Like, we just need to stop being so sensitive when it comes to our particular sound. I don't have like, I'm Congolese. I don't mind other artists from Africa coming like and taking elements of the sound and then adding their spin to it. Like, music is supposed to diversify.
I've got it. So it says, what Nigerians have done to Amapiano is insane. The beats are otherworldly and their own, but to now add Nige lyricism top tier is what the person said.
I think
to them though, to them.
Yeah, I think it's to them, and that's to your point. It's in a personal opinion, and I don't think anyone should be like, you know, taking offense. I think where people took offense is that the tweet almost reads as such that Amapiano is good, but Nigerians made it better. And I think that's where some people are. And the thing is, you know what, if they want to take offense, fine, but I think there are ways to articulate it. Because what I saw
in that regard, I can see like where, you know, like, this is our thing, and then you lot think you can come and claim that it's better. But it's all subjective at the end of the day, innit?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a timeline conversation because it's to her, right? Like, everyone's allowed their own opinion.
Yeah, man.
I think it's more to do with like, you know, it's when it's your community directly affected, everyone forgets. Like, so like in this instance, Nigerians are the ones from that tweet, like, we've helped improve a sound possibly, innit? But I remember when like these conversations happened when like Drake was in a dancehall space and like he gets credit for blowing it up and making it worldwide. It's that kind of notion where like I've been listening to like deep house, African house for years. That scene's been popping. But obviously, if you think about Afrobeats at the minute, it's one region for the most part. We've got some of the premier artists, the ones that are worldwide, so like your Burners, your Wizkids, your Davidos. So if they jump on something, it gives it a bigger blow up. But if you're from a certain community and you've been already enjoying that music, you already know it's popping, it can be a little bit of like a kick in the teeth a little when it's like, okay, suddenly people recognize it because some people are jumping on that wave.
And I get that, like, you know, they could be in fear of that now drowning out the original sound because obviously having a Nigerian twist to it wasn't the original sound.
Because it could be taken away and not necessarily all the way adding. Like, yeah, you might be giving it more exposure, but if it's like getting further and further away from its true essence, of course, if that's something I really love and it's like part of my heritage, I'm going to be a little bit like, I want it to stay as true to its original form as possible. You know.
Possibly.
I don't know.
Because I was saying thing when Drake was like having Wizkid around doing the Afro beats and like you look with a little bit of cynicism like, you know. Obviously your premier artists are popping off it like so cool, but I'm not mad at the opposing argument.
And I take no issue with artists attempting something just as long as it sounds good. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because
Nariman's got a song called "Coming," and there's the
make it sound good, like execute it well.
No, but Naira's too horny on that track. Too horny.
The words in that track are disgusting.
Orgasm.
I'm shivering. Like what?
I mean, what's the name of the song again?
Coming.
So, would you expect to like?
He understood the assignment.
Oh my god.
The song's called "Coming." He understood the assignment, innit?
Yeah, man. Yeah. You know what it's about. Like he let you know from the title.
Yeah.
Like, can't be talking about virginity. Like, you're not gonna be doing that.
Yeah, it's not. This ain't no wholesome content. 18 plus over here. Yeah.
I mean, Vibes Cartel did.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Look, yeah. Amazing memories.
Yeah.
When we was actually allowed to be in the dance and stuff, innit? So, but yeah, that was a conversation. But I don't think it's gonna stop though, because that sound is just growing and growing more and more. And
it's cold, bruv.
Yeah, no, it's cold. Especially when the sun's out and that's playing. Yeah, I wanna be in dance when those sets are playing, and I hope the DJs get the right rhythms as well. So that's another thing, innit? But
yeah.
Well, #Offthecuffpod.
Come on.
We are back. A good honest conversation never hurt anyone.
Yes.
If you're listening for the first time, my name's Fols Forever.
Mr. Vans.
And we've got Houdini H in the cut, literally just chilling.
I have the mic.
No, you just know that it was just your hair. But I'm gonna let people know you are here. You are here. Like, you are here. Chris is here as well.
Yeah, they've got me back in the corner, guys.
Chrissy, hi.
Back on punishment.
Cheers, Chris. Don't lie to the people, man. You're not comfortable.
Am I not in the corner? Am I in a different setup?
The thing's like, I wanted to lie, but I can't lie.
She's acting like we put her underneath the staircase like Harry Potter. Like,
am I not in the corner?
I'm so dead.
Nah,
I mean, I wouldn't quite call that a corner.
Yeah.
Agenda, please.
You're on a lovely couch with H. You trying to say he's in the corner as well?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. Let's still have no mic.
H don't have no mic. Don't do this. H ain't got any mic.
You can't even say anything.
Yeah, you can't say
That's
anything.
the story.
Good, man. You're not in the corner. You know, you're comfortable, aren't you?
Is that the story you're telling the people?
I'm
Yes.
asking you a question.
I am saying that I am comfortable of my own free will.
Okay, cool. Did you notice you asked her a question, she answered your question with a question?
Yep.
Yeah, dodgy behaviour there. Yeah, we're on to
Chrissy Hive.
Yeah, Chrissy Hive.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. We've got a guest.
Yeah.
Lateef is with us today.
Hello.
When he gave us the thumbs up, you know, he's acting like he's under duress as well. Oh yeah, they forced me here.
Blink twice if you're okay.
Twice.
Thanks for coming down.
Of course.
Do you want to introduce yourself to our listenership, let know a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you kind of do, and we'll get into it.
I just had like a bit of brain freeze when you just said that. So yeah, my name's Lateef. I do YouTube content creation focusing on skincare, travel, wellness, mental health, lifestyle. I also do like loads of things from like volunteering, and literally you can find me on literally almost every single social media platform. So YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest, surprisingly, under Lateef Saka. I think I've cracked the social media thing, you know?
Yeah, you've got like all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on there. I can just about cope with like Insta and Twitter.
Do you know what? I started a Pinterest.
Yeah, I was like, are we just going to skate past that?
Yeah, Pinterest slaps.
I feel like you said Pinterest before. That's why I was like...
Yeah, I know, but I know. The thing is, but you know, Pinterest.
Panini in the beginning.
So, you know, like, obviously, I never said, you know what? I feel like you're enforcing colonialism by correcting my English.
Wow.
That was good.
Wow.
I said boats, man.
Checkmate.
Ah.
You know what? I'm stumped. I'm not going to lie. That
wow.
That one was very left
No,
field.
don't do that, because when it's us, you got bare response from me and Vans. Now suddenly, I can't speak.
I'm dumbfounded.
I'm stumped. I've never even heard you say stumped before. What the hell is stumped?
If you came hard, then maybe I might stumble, but...
Wow.
State pussy game up, B.
Oh shit.
Bad boy, want to.
It's gonna be a long night, boy.
Supposed to be keeping the peace, guys. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's small vim, but yeah.
Yeah, we got Lateef over here promoting wellness, mental health,
Yeah.
and here we are arguing.
Yeah. Don't try it, guys.
I mean, a little arguing never hurt anyone.
Healthy.
It's better to have it out than
Okay.
in moderation, anyway. So
That's a man on violence.
But sometimes you got to create the English from time to time, man. Because we having some mad mistakes. When I listen back, the ones that we miss are the funniest ones.
Yeah.
The ones that you don't even clock in the moment. Like.
But you know what? Everyone makes mistakes when they have to talk for like 2.5 hours straight.
100%.
Yeah.
You know
Even
saying,
small
like,
10 minutes.
And I'll be forgetting myself
because
I've
like,
got a list, man. I'll be like trying to talk like Twister, and then I'm just wait, hold on.
I'm shouting.
Wow.
And obviously I haven't been drinking for a little while, but you know the episodes when we're drinking?
Yeah.
Those are the funniest ones. You'll be like, brother, slow down, take a breath.
Calm down.
Yeah.
Breathe.
Yeah, man. You're prone to making mistakes like when you speak on a podcast.
Yeah.
Because like if you think about it, yeah, in a day, how many hours do you speak for on average?
Oh, but my day job requires me, so I speak a lot.
That's
Shit. Mouth dry by the end of the day. And
man basically said your breath is hot, you know.
Wow.
Personally, I wouldn't have that.
Nah, we don't do that over here. Do you know what I'm saying?
Don't come in there like the white man trying to divide and conquer.
No, but
Pow.
you're not gonna steal my joke and remix it, bro. You're gonna have to come back with that
It's a
one.
refix. But you know, I ain't got water shortage, man. We drinking water over here, man.
Alkaline.
Yeah, from Costco, man. You know,
pH.
good pH. But you said so. You're on Pinterest,
Yeah.
Twitter, Instagram,
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube.
What's your favorite social media app at the moment?
Definitely has to be Twitter, man. I just think the creativity, the content, the personalities, it's phenomenal.
Yeah. And is that from like a personal, like in terms of like, you know, like outside of what you do professionally?
Oh yeah,
content
completely.
creation, just like unwind and just like chilling, having fun. Is that why you say it's your favorite in regards?
Yeah,
to
100%. And you can kind of curate, for the most part, what you see on your timeline. And it's just funny. Like sometimes I can't believe Twitter's free. Like some of the things that I just
stop doing that, man. They're gonna start charging us soon, bro.
I don't mind. I can. Even
I'm sure
pay
they've got a
small.
subscription model. Like
They do like a space thing. Yeah.
that you can. I think it's like $2.99 a month or something like that.
And you pay to join people's spaces.
You people are screaming up and down. I can't believe it's free. What now?
Yeah, they got to add something extra because look what Facebook are doing.
True.
What are Facebook doing?
It's like you can buy things on there.
Oh yeah, you can. They have the shop.
They have the shop. So
I think they have on Insta as well, but I've absolutely refused to click on that page.
Insta is becoming one big shop.
Insta, honestly, if it wasn't for like content creation, I don't think I would use it. It just the algorithm. I barely see content I want to see. I barely see my friends and family. It's just there for
That's what
vibes.
my statement, though.
Well, it's true though. Like, and
Like I mean, I
that's why
see them.
No, but that's why I said this.
Yeah.
I was like, brother, go outside.
No, I mean like I see them, but sometimes you want to like see
their posts.
No, I know what you mean. Like, it feels like you see one set of people on your gram all the time, over and over again. So yeah, I know
all
I know
the
what you mean.
time.
Yeah.
And it's just ads of things that I will never buy.
Yeah. The evolution of Instagram's been crazy because when I first got it, it was purely for like more of an artistic thing, like who can post the best photo using filters. It literally was that, and then you got to like the selfie era, and then we transitioned to
Snapchat came with their filters and changed the game.
yeah. And then video, all that stuff. So yeah, where it's gone to is crazy now. But the amount of people on there, obviously, they're looking at like shop window. We've got this amount of people on there. We have to find a way of like, because a lot of people are making money on the gram without Instagram being involved in that transaction. So that's why it is the way it is at the moment.
But the thing is though, just even like looking at their revenues and their year-on-year growth, they considering for an app, they were making a considerable amount of money.
Yeah.
So they had no need to just push it as hard as they did, right? Because you still had brands who paid for ads, right? It just wasn't to this extent. Like now I feel every 2 photos I see an ad, and it's not even a well-placed ad because it's something that I would never ever buy anyway in the first place.
Yeah. What's it like for you lot? Same experience?
I mean, on the gram,
Yeah.
like sometimes they get the ads right because it seems like, I was thinking about this and now I see it. I'm like, makes me want to buy stuff. And there are things that like that pop up and I'm like, that looks nice.
Yeah.
I may buy it, but like I'm not a serial buyer. I don't, I'm a story done. So I just go through stories, post on my story, and keep it moving. Like,
Yeah.
but it's becoming like Twitter's the app for me though. It's the main app because
It's vibes, isn't it?
it can be vibes. Like I tried to just block out
The
all
bad vibes.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and when you've got like a select few people that you tweet
That you interact with, yeah.
that you're cool with, like despite how many followers you may have, like you always got a small section of people that you tweet on a regular basis. Like, yeah, man. Like outside of that, it's whatever in it. Like if I see a joke that bangs, then cool in it. I laugh.
Yeah.
But other than that, like for example, for you, I don't even know how you maintain consistency across all your social media apps.
To be honest, I actually don't. And like my management irritated with me about that, and I think I've definitely like it's more about figuring out what makes you happy and what works well for you. Like I said, Instagram is massively curated. I am not taking pictures with like white walls and like and all of that. I personally do not have time for it, right? I don't have like the time to edit stuff and like take out this and like lighten this and sharpen my eyes and face tune and all that. It's just no, that's not me, right? So Instagram is probably my least consistent app. But Twitter, TikTok, because they're just so funny, they're so simple. You could tweet something, right? Fine, you can engage with people, like you said, like the circle, your people. TikTok is like 15 seconds, like it's a no-brainer. Like I'm not, inventing the wheel or anything. It's something that's just so simple to do. YouTube, I can't lie. YouTube I need to do better on, because the way how I post like every 3 to 4 months as if like I'm being forced to do it, I need to do much better. But I would say Instagram is probably my least favorite platform.
So how do you maintain like engagement and stuff like on those places? Like if you only like on YouTube 3 to 4 months, like in comparison to, I don't know, someone else who may do it weekly or every 4 days, for example.
So I think YouTube is slightly different, right? Because it's, if your video is there, it's there. And if people find use in it, it will always just be there, right? So there have been times where I've seen a massive spike in like viewership. Like I think I had one video that I posted, it was there for like 2 months. It had like 5,000 views. In a week, it just scaled up to like 110,000. I don't know if someone posted it somewhere. I don't know if it's because it became a search. I don't know why, right? Blew up. So I'm not too fussed about YouTube, because once it's there and people want it, people will look for it, right? So if I put up a video on hyperpigmentation and in 5 years someone wants to fix hyperpigmentation, there is a likelihood that my video on hyperpigmentation will come up. Do you know what I mean? I think maybe when things are a bit more very broad, in the sense that there are multiple options, or maybe something that's like extremely niche that only appeals to a very small audience, is when you have to be consistent and keep on like chucking out a lot of info. But I've just found that uploading every 2 to 3 months, like I'm being forced, works well for me. Yeah. Okay.
You mentioned hyperpigmentation. Like, how did you get into this skincare stuff? Because none of them are really into skincare like that, unless.
Do you moisturize your face?
Yeah.
Do you cleanse your face?
Yeah.
Then you're into skincare.
Okay, fair. But it's not amongst like a discussion with the mandem. Like I've never, Donnie's never come up to me and be like, "Yo, bro, what do you use?" Like,
you have,
hurrah, you're looking glowing.
But you have. I'm looking at your skin now, and you have relatively very good skin. So because of that, maybe it's never been a concern for you, right? I can arguably say that growing up, I had textbook good skin, so it was never ever really a concern for me either. But I think,
I came up.
Huh?
I came up.
Oh, you came up.
This the new face.
Oh, this is a new face. Okay.
I came up. It went like a smooth sailing. Like,
Well, do you know what? It's good. I said I'm looking at you now, and I never just said you've always had in it. So the colonial English, it worked for me small.
I hear that.
But okay. So I think it just depends, and I think think about it. All right, as black men, to a certain extent, we've always been kind of told, don't leave your house looking ashy, right?
Yeah.
If I compare it to like my white friends, a lot of them don't moisturize. Like they'll be like, why do I need to put on cream?
Yeah.
Right. So to a certain extent, one could argue.
They know why.
But you could argue that to a certain extent, most black people are into skincare, right? You have at least the basics, the essentials, and I think it just came about twofold. One, when I started to get facial hair, I had these terrible ingrown hairs. And I said, you know what? There's no way that they're going to spoil my fine boy. So I literally went to go and find a way to go and deal with it. Like I randomly ended up taking a course, like really into science. So a majority of it just made sense.
Right.
And then from there, like when my friends would be like, oh, I got ingrown hairs or I have this, we would just like kind of talk about it. And I just continued to just share that information. So it was like more natural as opposed to like, oh my God, I feel like this is something that I want to do when I grow up or something like that. Yeah,
it's like a natural thing. It just came naturally.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's just like I was saying before. It's it's never been a focal point in any discussion that I've ever had. Like in terms of sharing tips. Because and the mandem, are we really going to be honest with each other? Like if the skin is,
I think it depends though, but I think that's something that we should unpack, right? So you're saying that you've come up, right? So when you was down, right?
Jesus Lord.
How? No, not like that. But when you was down, right? Did you actually, who did you talk to about it, or did you just feel like, okay, it's not even something for me to talk about?
Probably my sisters or my women friends.
Okay, but this is so why would you naturally so there's this thing that I feel like a lot of men feel more comfortable to talk to women because they feel like it's like, oh, it's
no,
not
but I only spoke to those with like nice skin though.
Wow.
Drag them down. Goodness.
What do you want to do? I have a problem and you have a problem too. I need to go to someone that's got a solution.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on? Like,
so
I'm
you know what?
Beyond.
You know what? A fun fact, right, is that about 80% of your skin is defined by your genetics, right? Nothing to do with what you do. If you have acne, texture problems, good skin, glass skin, no hyperpigmentation, it's basically based on your parents, right? So some people can actually probably you'll see some dermatologists that can fix your skin, but their skin is bad because 80% of it is just genetics, right? The other 20% depends on like environmental factors, stress, where you live, hormones, various other things, right? So that being said, maybe if someone has bad skin, they could still be a good resource. Like, good skin doesn't make your information any more credible, because there are people with good skin who will tell you, oh, I never washed my face for 2 months.
Sorry.
Yeah. Like they like on TikTok they will tell, or they'll do stuff like, I don't know, in fact, this is a PG podcast, I'm gonna mind
what?
Are you alright?
You know you are. How dare you dare us?
How I dare. But like so for example, on TikTok there was a whole trend of women using, or a woman saying that she uses like period blood as like, a mask, right?
Pardon?
Bro, don't choke.
What?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So loads of people believe those things. Now, the thing is, I would hope that common sense will tell you not to do it. But some people will, right? And because, I saw that video and her skin was, it looked like glass, right? So people would look at that and people would do it. And that's why, a lot of people are damaging their skin, because they listen to people with good skin and it's just based on their genetics.
Fair enough, I hear that, yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I like that you're highlighting that though, because I do feel with everything, there's always a hustle in it. So if someone that is just naturally has great skin, they can tell you anything because you're looking at him like, okay, cool. From what you said, you got great skin, so you're promoting this product or this method. Of course, I'm going to use it because I want to look like you or have skin like yours.
Even like with beard growth, like that's the biggest hustle.
Do you know what? Yeah,
you know how many beard oils man's trying to get?
I tapped out. That's why I just started growing the locks because
Fam, like,
I'm so dead. I'm so dead.
Shout in
for a
this
distraction, yeah.
I'm
dead.
it's working.
place. Shout.
I will
Oh my-
shout in this
Hey,
place today.
if I'm lying, I'm dying. Was you not going home that day? Yeah, we went to the shop and home going, can I touch your hair?
Swear down.
No rap cap.
Oh, she's
Oh,
black.
did you feel
She's
gassed?
black.
Oh, swear
Did
down.
you love it?
My sister, innit?
I'm so dead. I'm so dead.
Mad.
Oh my god, I love your hair.
Nah, but I've been seeing some of the IG comments
What's that?
like, oh yeah, Fols Fols looks great with hair. I'm like, okay, that's it. Young Fols, like, come on, Fendi Fols.
Love me, innit? But yeah, I'm with you. The beard oil. Oh my god, bro.
Fam, I've bought about 18 beard oils.
Yeah.
The thing about beard oils is, with hair, beard oils do not stimulate hair growth. They can help promote hair growth, but it really depends again on your genetics,
Yeah.
environmental factors, and are you keeping that area clean? That's what actually promotes, but really more on the
Speak on it.
genetics. Really more, like it's really genetic. And
Nah,
everyone,
are you keeping it clean?
oh, are you keeping it clean? Yeah, 100%.
That's
No,
what,
No, I mean
no.
me. But yeah. But you should be keeping your facial hair really clean as well if
know
you
you
want
said-
to promote hair growth.
So what's the difference between promoting and stimulating? Because I've-
See, the thing,
Yeah.
let's ask the
Huh?
Colonial enforcer.
Chrissy,
Chrissy, hi. Alright, come on back your girl, man.
Wow, come on,
Unprovoked.
He's ready. He's ready.
unprovoked.
Wow.
Me that said small pin interest. You couldn't
Wow.
let it go.
Wow.
I'm sure
Wow.
the people would have ignored it.
Cool. Okay, cool. I'm ready. We're asking me.
It's the grandma now. Which grandma you say again?
I'm lost.
Something about promoting. What's the
Okay, so what's
difference
because you said most beard oils don't promote, they stimulate, or they don't stimulate, they promote, either or. And what's the difference between promoting and stimulating with regards to hair growth?
I feel like those two words effectively mean the same thing.
Yeah. Come on, grandma.
Not necessarily. I think there's a slight difference.
Care to explain?
I will.
Go on.
Great return of serve.
I will.
I'm looking at Serena Williams in her prime.
Bruv.
Before she lost her powers. Yeah. So, right.
I'm just over here googling while she
So when I think about stimulate implies that this grammar, it will escape me. Okay, stimulate implies that it's actually in the context of this, actually forcing or encouraging your hair follicles to come out. Whereas for me, when I look at the word promote in this context, is that the hair itself already has the ability to grow, but it's just ensuring that that environment or that area is in a better condition to continue that growth. Was that okay, English teacher?
Yeah, fantastic.
The thing is, I'm leaning to more what Chris said at the start, that they're essentially the same thing, because when you look at definition of stimulate and promote, there's one consistent word all the time is encouraging. So it's kind of encouraging that hair growth. That's what I keep saying. So, yeah. On stimulate, it says encourage or arouse interest, but that's another thing.
So excuse me, bros. I've already given the example. My English was fine. Man's like,
No, you gave your English. I wanted to come and give my last giddy English on top. Sorry.
for the record, you see that I didn't even need to use like a phone because I know what I'm talking about. Innit?
Wow. Okay. There's a lot of
Encouragement.
sass here.
There's a lot of encouragement on this pod. We're promoting and stimulating conversation.
Promoting beef.
No, at all. Friendly. I like this, man. Friendly fire, man. It's good, man. But yeah, now I'm with Vans. I tapped out that a long time ago. So I'm probably the people you're speaking to in regards to skincare. I'm that way in regards to like the whole beard movement, where I'm just like, bro, you either got it or you ain't, bro. Like,
And the
accept it.
majority of it's genetics, and I find it so funny when people talk about like just their dad. It's really your mum's side of the family as well, that people need to pay attention to.
Okay.
Yeah. So like a lot of boldness actually comes from your mum's side.
I heard that.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let me think. I should be fine.
I mean, as well as like environmental factors, stress, and
Yeah.
where you live, and all of that kind of jazz.
True.
Yeah.
I seen
Certain
one of my
man
friends
lost it
like
from
was losing
20
hair a
and
little
that.
bit due to stress, and once he got in a better place, the hair started growing back.
Wait,
Yeah.
what, the hairline or?
No, it was like a bald spot at the back.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, these things can happen, man. Like,
Even consistent shape up can
Just
it
push
can
it
mess
back.
you up.
but too much. Yeah. No, it's true. I've seen that. Some man just
Diddy was
for the hairline.
Diddy was getting the shape up every 3 days.
Every 3 days.
A barber on hand. Diddy. Or
Yeah,
Love.
But you know, like,
Love.
you know, he has money, so like that hairline, he could glue it back on or whatever they need to
He
do.
pushed it forward still.
He probably did. Who was it? Tiger that got a whole hair.
His
Sensational
crazy.
textbook.
But this is what I'm saying, right?
That's
I feel
why
like
I tried to. Tory Lanez went to him, innit? He was like, "Put me on."
yeah,
But
it didn't work.
Put him off.
Bad vibes. That's why.
yeah, no, but I think
some people it doesn't work for them.
I think
Tory Lanez thing is
it,
horrible.
no, but his forehead without the hairline, it looked it looked big, small.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, though, I think we're at this kind of era where men, to your point, are having these kind of conversations with other men. To the extent of which they're having these conversations is a bit unknown. But I feel like people are more comfortable to talk about stuff, right? From hair to barbers to whatever to skincare issues, and I think it's a good thing, right? Because ultimately, there's no point speaking but just to say like all skin is skin, right? What a woman uses and what a man uses is perfectly the same. I just think it's all marketing. But we're at this stage where you feel comfortable to say to your boy, oh, like, like what cleanser are you using or something like that. And it's just an easy conversation. It doesn't need to be like anything weird. And I think that's better for us as a whole, as opposed to just everyone, looking ashy or dry or, having all these issues and they just don't know how to sort it out.
Yeah, because the mandem acknowledge like their friend if they look nice, but they just won't say it.
No, it's a way we say it, like trims.
Yeah, but it's more focused around the trim. It's never like raw. Like, yo, your skin's looking poppy today.
I will though, because that's something that's important for me. Because you were saying the genetics, I'm sitting there thinking, what side of my mum and dad's family like did wrong for me to have eczema for many years, bro? Because that's a big deal for me, innit? So if I see someone with good skin, I'm maybe not like when I was younger and I was in the thick of it, but like over the last few years, I would say to them, oh, bro, what do you use, or and especially if I can see like maybe like skin abrasion or like marks on your hands, maybe where like you may have had eczema before and it's clearing up. Yeah, I'd ask. I'd be like, yo, what are you using in a minute?
That's what I'm saying. I feel like when it's something that is like, I have friends who, have like severe acne or hyperpigmentation. They will ask me because it's not a shame thing. It's about, I want what you want. I want to know what you're doing, right? I want to level up. I want to try and fix this, right? Because I also think that we're in an era where there's a lot of sensation. Like, people, unfortunately, rightly or wrongly so, are more concerned about their appearance. Because, I mean, the way how you are criticized, judged, perceived, everything, and everyone wants to kind of try and put their best foot forward. Yeah. Right? Again, whether it's right or wrong, I won't comment. But no one wants to be seen as different or have an issue or something like that. Something that's distinguishable.
Yeah, like especially like when I was a teenager, for example, like in the teenage spots, like it was peak. Face was looking like a Ferrero Rocher fan. Like, it's like, yo, like I need deliverance. I need it, and then it came.
Ah, God.
Now we up.
You know when a man's got onto the other side of like despair, they can speak like this. But I know when you was in the thick of it, bro.
Oh, bro, trenches, bro.
Yeah.
Like you have to be honest though. Like looking back, and you're like, rah, the skin was fucked up.
Yeah, and it's always peak like when that happens when like you start really getting interested in like girls and like
fam, using the wrong creams, bruv. Like there was a time where man was using Razak.
We were raised wrong though, because like a lot of us.
I was like, yo, what kind of poverty?
Wait, hold on, just 1 second. Because you're about to say a lot of us. A lot of who?
Blacks.
Okay, you need to say me and focus there.
You didn't know I was going to go to them. You're getting too excited.
Okay. No, let's
Pump your brakes.
Okay. All right.
I was gonna say a lot of us were raised wrong where like the basic thing was petroleum jelly. So everyone.
But petroleum jelly is actually good for the skin. I don't know where this myth comes from that it's bad. It's actually good.
Nah, bruv, I've had to be like, you know when you see a Donny like dig into the tub of Vaseline and cream their whole face with Vaseline. I'm like, how, bro?
But it's like, okay, aside from you looking shiny, it's actually really good because it's it doesn't block your pores. It's actually, well, most of them anyway.
I've been told the opposite. Like, that's
no, it doesn't. So it's non comedogenic. adaptogenic, which means that it doesn't block your pores, right? So it's really good. The issue with petroleum jelly is that a lot of people do not wash their face properly after using it. So that buildup is what causes bacteria to grow.
Right.
So it's actually really good. So like if you burnt yourself or you have like, you know, any type of like scarring, petroleum jelly as well as aloe vera, they're quite good. Now, obviously there are different types of petroleum jelly. You may get those that are mixed in with like humectants, which naturally hydrate your skin as well, which are really good. And you may get those that just seal in moisture.
Okay.
So yeah, but no, petroleum.
No, you're putting me on though, because like I grew up for a long time thinking, especially like eczema, you get given all these different steroid creams and that, but the one consistent thing I always had was some form of petroleum jelly. So like if my hands were a bit too like itchy, I might want to wear cotton gloves. I'll put that on because it's cheap and it's very thick, so you can put that on. And if I wanted to avoid itch, and that's the thing I'd use, but then at a certain point I just felt like I was just stuck at a point where it wasn't getting better or worse. So I was like, I want to try something else. And that's when I was reading, I was like, people saying, oh, it's maybe not that great for you. And personally for me, in terms of my face, I've used other things and they've worked. And obviously it's on a case by case basis.
I mean, I don't think it's I don't think it's something that I would personally put on my face.
Okay.
Just because I feel like it's too heavy, and that whole shiny, looking like a light bulb thing is not my vibe. But if you do it, there's nothing wrong with it, and it could fry you as well in the sun as well. So just remember that stuff like that as well can, you know, increase
stepping out and
darkness
their face
and
is sizzling, you know.
Exactly.
Teeth foul pattern.
But like, but the thing is like, you know, when parents were doing it, they had the kind of right idea, you know. It's just about, I think,
I just slap it. There was no.
That's why we get mocked in school,
there was
bro.
no finesse.
Scrap.
Oh yeah, Junior, come here.
Bah. Bruv, with mad aggression, you know, when your mum used to
So
cream
bad.
your face and that.
These times you're late for work. Why are you angry at me? I didn't do nothing, man.
I'm screaming. I'm screaming.
I was just trying to get to school, man. What's the meaning of all this? Hey, the good times, man. The good times growing up. But go on, man.
Do you know what I was gonna say? Like, you know, in that discussion, yeah, like, and you know, petroleum jelly when it's hot, you know, frying your skin and stuff. Another thing that like I didn't know growing up was that like black people should be using sunblock. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's all part of like taking care of your skin that I only like knew about like in the past several years. Yeah. You know, and I'm starting to see like a lot of mandem promoting like the whole factor 50 SPF. La Roche-Posay and that.
Oh, come on.
You didn't need to say it like that, but
Yeah.
Oui, Francois.
What is it? What did I say wrong?
no, say again.
La Roche.
In fact, you know what? I'm not even gonna join the
gonna go-
Colonial enforcer. I'm gonna mind my business. You said it correct. You keep on saying it, my brother.
Is it not Posay?
You keep on saying it.
No,
Thank you. Keep on
Oh,
saying
you
it.
see when the man can just gash and make you feel good, and you go out there, yeah.
Nah, I
all
know
your
he's being sarcastic.
Yeah.
No, I am backing.
He's like, no, go on, my brother, keep going.
I'm not even gonna be a
going, go on,
hypocrite.
keep
Keep on saying
going,
it.
go
I
on.
dare your back. Keep on saying it.
Yeah. You gotta
Yeah,
feel
nah,
support.
a lot. Like I'm starting to see, like, you know, people on the man them on social
But I
media.
think that's when the
talk about
internet's cool, because I think that's definitely something I was seeing. It wasn't a conversation outside or in a barbershop. It was definitely social media, Twitter, Instagram. I see more people saying, "Oh, you should be using sunblock if you're black." Like,
100%. And it's just one of those things that, like, so my parents are very much into skincare, and I have like a few uncles that are dermatologists. So I've always worn SPF as a child. And the thing is that a lot of people, to a certain extent, the melanin in our skin does protect us from the bulk of UVB and UVA damage, right? Which is great. However, you know, when you're talking about hyperpigmentation, dark spots, fine lines, wrinkles, these are all caused by exposure to the sun, right? So it's like if you put on that sunblock, it's not going to kill you. Like most sunblocks double up as a moisturizer. So it's good for you. I mean, a very, very, very small percent, and I'm going to really highlight this, a very small percent of black people do get skin cancer via sun exposure, but it is very small. Like a majority of black people that do get skin cancer, their melanoma is like, it's in the back of the foot and the palms, so we definitely know it's not from sun exposure.
of course, yeah.
But I mean, it doesn't outrule the fact that you can get skin cancer
Right.
from sun exposure. You know, just slap on a bit SPF 50. You don't even need to. Well, I mean, I'm of the school of thought that you don't need to reapply. But most people say reapply every 2 hours.
Yeah, because I've been seeing people over applying, looking grey in that.
Exactly, and that's why it always comes. That's the thing as well. Like now,
Beetlejuice.
do you know what?
Step out looking casket ready.
This is it, casket ready. No, but that is actually a thing. You are just looking like Casper, the friendly ghost. And the thing that's even mad is that you'll be trying to rub it in, and your skin is just on fire because the friction. I got sent this sunscreen like a month ago. Used it, and I still haven't even recovered from the breakout. I was trying to rub it in, like I literally felt like my face and my hands were on fire. Had to like just sit down. I went to sleep with it. I could even wash my face that evening.
Mad.
Because it was just, I literally looked purple.
But you know what? Good skin is a good flex.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when the babes notices. You know it's popping, bro. Like, because that's what I'm saying.
Remember, we're so fucking weak, bro.
Weak.
Paying our compliments now. Yeah, man.
No, but it's the same thing as us paying them compliments.
But we know they're done out here. Don't worry about them. Man.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
This is not directed at you. Come on.
RNA.
You're part of 1%.
In the building.
Oh, thanks, babes.
So
I want to take the conversation somewhere else a little bit though. In regards to like being a male influencer. If I don't know how you feel about that term, if you welcome it.
I don't like the term
Amazing. Let's keep going. What's the bag like being in that space as a man? If I'm wording it better for you.
So,
as a content creator, someone that's on all these different apps.
do you know when we say bag, what do we mean by bag?
How much naira are they paying you, bro?
Oh wow, okay. Do you know what? I think it's extremely profitable, right? The one thing I will say is that with anything, especially when it comes to content creation, women will out earn more, right? And when it comes to thinking about how I get paid versus my white counterparts,
okay, there we go.
they get paid more.
Yeah.
But it is good enough and it is sustainable. I think the difference is with men is that you need to find your niche. And you need to find it quickly. So that's why you do find a lot of men, if they do fashion, strictly fashion. If they do sports, strictly sports. If they're going to do skincare, strictly skincare. In some cases, you can maybe do one or two things. But it needs to be very niched in the sense that people look to you. And it's also a bit harder. Because one thing, and I guess this comes back to our previous conversation, is that what you often find is that a majority of like your followers are women, right? Yeah. So how do you let a brand know that, okay, if they give you, I don't know, a pair of joggers to promote, that men will actually buy it? So you then also need to like think about how you can position yourself to for your followers to be more men than women, right? Which ideally most heterosexual men will not want, right? So then there's also that kind of duality of knowing that, okay, most of your followers are going to be men.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to have. Because with women, it's a different ball game, because like we know that a lot of these women that feature on like Pretty Young Thing or whatever, when they upload their swimsuit or their dress,
I love Chrissy the colonizer.
What's Pretty Young Thing?
She was like, hello, pretty little thing. That's what she.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
I was wondering, what is Pretty Young Thing? Like, is that a new thing? PYT and that. I want to love you.
Do you know what it is? If it's that you want to fight me, just let me know.
It just made him gay as well. I love it because he still is.
I didn't say anything.
And my ears pricked up. And I looked at Chrissy. She looked at me. And she's like,
yeah. Do you know what I was like? Yeah, it was a Pretty Young Thing.
And you're like, what is a Pretty Young Thing?
Let him keep flowing.
Keep going.
I didn't even speak. So
there's hella bad.
Amazing.
You're my guy, right?
Yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
Bad vibes.
No. Come on.
No.
Amazing.
Split down the room. Bad vibes. Okay, you know what it is? But I mean, to be fair, I don't know what the brand is. So Pretty Young Thing, Pretty Little Thing. Is Shy Pretty and Thing. That one I know that
Shout
much.
out to Pretty Things.
yeah.
Exactly. But this is my point, right? Yeah. Because when she uploads her photo, most of the people in those comments are men salivating, right? But that's almost acceptable for a woman because it increases desirability.
Yeah.
So more people want to, share her post, whatever, right? But with a man, fair enough, you have more women commenting, but then the brand will look at you and be like, okay, he has a lot of engagement, but they all happen to be women.
Yeah.
So do we actually know that if we gave him something or paid for an ad campaign, he will be able to shift it to the market that we want? And in some cases you can, right? Because like I've had loads of women who get gifts for their husbands, their brothers, their dads, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Fair, but it's almost like you need to be able to prove that you can rake in the money. But I mean, as far as the bag goes, the bag is their share, but you will need to fight for it to make sure that you are getting the same amount as your white counterparts. And it's the biggest headache.
It does that determine on your management?
So it's not about management. I think it's about you. So like I have a very strict policy that I talk to a lot of white influencers, both women and men, right? So generally speaking, it's kind of like work where they say like, don't talk about your pay. We all know everyone's going to talk about their pay. So once I know if a same brand is paying you £10 and they want to pay me £8, I'm not doing it. Like I've like my management, maybe they small hate me for this, but I decline stuff all the time because I'm like, there's no way. And I don't care if the brand emails me, I'm just like, I'm not doing it. Like the money is not even enough for me to do that, because it's like you also look at the analytics and the engagement, right? And you think my engagement is 3-4 times the amount of this white boy,
right? And
you want to pay him 3 times the amount, and it's me that has to be like chucking and jiving. I'm not gonna do it. And I think it's unfortunate because, you know, some people do it and it's fine, but I just refuse to. And like your management can't really get involved because it's more of a PR brand thing. So PR companies, I don't know what it is, but they just tend to see black creators as lesser, right? There's this page called the Influencer Pay Gap on Instagram, and it looks at the pay gap, and it actually gives like real instances, real influencers, real campaigns, and some of these gaps are insane. We're talking about maybe someone getting paid 500 versus same campaign, more or less same followers, getting paid maybe 12-13k. Do you know what I mean? That's not like things like £10-8. That was just me joking, but I'm just saying, like, there was even something recently where, and I'm gonna air out this brand when I have my own time, but I just so happened to be talking to this white influencer. He asked me for help on something. So we started having a conversation. I said to him, because I saw his campaign had gone live that day. Mine was supposed to go live the next week. So I just said to him, conversation, oh, like, you got your contract, all of that, blah, blah, blah. He said, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So I just said, oh, like, what were your rates, right? He has maybe like a third of my following. His engagement isn't that well. He said his number. I said, kept on talking. I literally emailed my management. I was like, I haven't signed the contract. Ask them where I could post their stuff back to, because I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. Right. And that's the thing. It's very kind of like, it's only when you have that discussion, you realize to the extent that you're being shortchanged. And that's why I encourage like everyone who's doing influencing content creation, speak to your peers, both black, both Asian, both white, more followers than you, same followers as you, less followers than you. Understand the market, because it is truly competitive in the sense that there is no job ad that's going to say, for creating X reels, you're going to get £2,000. It's not going to exist, right? You need to have that conversation.
But even on like in the 9-to-5 world, like, you know, when you're applying for a job and it says competitive salary, what is it? And I think like, I don't know what it is for in other countries, but they say in the UK, like, they need to start encouraging people to start having that discussion amongst their peers, just to know what other people are getting. Because like, you could be in a job role, like I'm in an office, me and you are doing the same thing, but my man might be getting $5,000 more than I am, and it's like, hold on, we're doing the same thing, what's going on?
Yeah, when I see any jobs that say competitive salary, I'm not on it. What does competitive salary mean? I can go in there and arm wrestle the CEO. I'm not on it.
Tough Mudder.
The thing is, I did Tough Mudder.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's really good. Have you done it?
Nah, I need to one day.
You shouldn't reference it. Only real men can actually reference Tough Mudder.
Oh, is it? Just because you've been, yeah. Because I want to
Not
make you a real man, yeah.
Been completed and had a bloody amazing time.
Sorry,
doing
I ain't got a biscuit to give you.
Whoa! So that's no. Do you know what it is? There's a pattern here. So first we had a colonial enforcer. Now you're saying a biscuit. So
you question his manhood.
So what are you trying to take me back to the 50s?
Don't be that person. You need to take accountability. You took shots.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy. Don't come in my house and
Yes.
put your feet on my couch.
I can't hear this.
You meant to say fuck your couch.
I'm shouting.
It was so funny. I know these babes listen like, yeah, man. They're talking. They need to do tough mother. You know, women are on us about being podcasters.
Oh yeah.
Build a house, do tough mother.
I'm so dead. No, but when I see those tweets, the one that kills me when they're like, God, the men that you gave us, they're doing podcasts and they're in women's business.
But you know what's so funny? I laugh at them, yeah, but I can't laugh too hard.
No, do you know which one? There was one that I was laughing, but I wasn't laughing when there was like, something like men should go back to war. I said, what? Like, you guys actually want us dead?
The colonizer still. But you know what? There was one in response about what gives men the ick, and someone said, women that have failed YouTube channels. I died.
Oh my god!
Someone saw it.
Oh my god!
I did a triple bye birdie. I was like this.
I'm flipping. No, do you know which one actually got me as well? Birthday makeup. Bare people around. I didn't know what birthday makeup was until that day.
When I realised that babes out here looking like gold dust,
some babes are looking silverback.
Yeah.
I'm crying.
And what's killing me is that like all the other days out of the year, flawless. I don't know what it is. The MUAs on their birthday.
Bro,
like,
the MUAs are the real scammers.
Jesus is Lord.
Bro, the MUAs were doing pyramid schemes, bro. Like, they were selling
I don't understand. Like, how can every other day throughout the year you look 10-10? And in the one day where it's meant to matter the most, they mash you up, bro.
I'm sorry.
So you're just going to be in women's business like this?
different shapes and
This is what you're going to do?
the cheekbone.
Huh?
This is what you're going to do?
No, I'm just going to listen.
No, is that what you're going to do?
The cufflink community.
Is that what you're going to do?
We listen to women over here.
Okay, it's enough. We've heard.
Big up our cufflinks.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say, okay, I don't think everyone should knock the term competitive salary, right? When we're talking about office jobs, because I know some competitive salaries that are truly competitive.
Yeah,
I think it's a weird one, but I think, you know, that's when you have to get resourceful and become proactive, right? Mm-hmm. So if, for example, if for example, you know, you worked at a consultancy firm that I don't know. I don't care if we haven't spoken like more than 3 times. I'm going to message you. I'm not going to ask outright your salary, but I'm going to ask your banding, and I'm going to work with that, right? I think some people as well, and I've had this conversation with many people. If you know if you're in a particular industry, Google is actually your best friend. Glassdoor is your best friend, and you don't even need to pay for it. You can use Facebook to sign in and use it for free for about like 20 to 30 odd searches.
Sharing audit tips.
And then, you know, aside from that, talk to people, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're thinking about like the black community, like we are very small. I don't think there's anyone that's not like unapproachable, except for like shiny suit Twitter, and they're a bit irritating. But you know, you can have that kind of conversation with people, right? Shiny suit Twitter,
shiny suit dons, like they're hopping to work, kangaroo hop.
It's them dons coming out of Bank Station with the shirt and the gilet. That's
One of them ones. What the gilet underneath the blazer?
Okay, you're talking too much because I wear a gilet to work. Nah, because I feel like that was an indirect term. Like,
guys, how can you go to work here? Man's trying to do Wolf of Wall Street, but trying to be Ghost from Power at the same time. You gotta pick a side. Are you on the roads or are you corporate? One to pick one, bruv.
What you say? You can't be both.
No, bruv. That ain't find your man that can do both. No, you're fucking working for a Fortune 500 company. Stay over there, bruv, and let the rest of us be banging.
I feel like he hates black men. Because what is that comment? But the thing is actually funny because a lot of people where I work, and I work in finance, wear gilets and a shirt. It is the standard.
It just became like corporate swag, innit? I was looking like, what's going on here, bruv?
I can imagine it like being like, have you seen American Psycho?
Yeah.
No.
Where they're like comparing like the hallmark on their business cards, and they're proper passionate about it. Like, oh my gosh, like he can't have a better one than me.
Do you know what the thing is? It's weird because I just feel like the gilet thing is such a finance thing, and it's like the norm. Like no one even looks at it, thinks about it. It's just like, okay, it is what it is. And you know,
City of London and Canary Wharf.
The gilet underneath the blazer.
Okay, not underneath the blazer though. Like if I'm wearing the gilet, I'm just wearing a shirt. Like not underneath a blazer. I know some people wear underneath a blazer. I don't personally.
Just in case you need to throw hands on that.
No.
Imagine that. Imagine someone tried to pull up on you, back of your blazer and see the gilet. I'm sorry, Ghost. I'm
sorry, Ghost.
I'm sorry.
I'm dead.
We're all wild those. But where were we? So that's what I want to actually ask you as well, because you referenced it quite a few times. Just for like clarity, what does hyperpigmentation actually mean? So like I've watched some of your content on your channel. That's when it comes up quite often. Even just sitting here with you over the last hour or so, you've mentioned it a few times.
Yeah, so like hyperpigmentation in layman terms just refers to the darkening of a certain area of your skin. Okay. So it could be like a spot that you've had that's, you know, darkened. It could be unevenness.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just that simple.
Just that simple.
But I'm assuming it's very common.
It's very common amongst black people.
Yeah.
And again, the best way to prevent it, full stop, is two ways. One, sunscreen, because obviously one of the causes of hyperpigmentation is sun exposure. But secondly, if you know, the most common is post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So this is when you've got like a spot or something and, you know, it's popped, whatever, and you just see that dark spot start to form just by like treating it and not touching it, not popping it, just letting it fade away naturally.
No.
Do they call that blackheads? What are blackheads? Are they? Is that different?
Blackheads and blackheads can turn into blackheads can cause scarring.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't really know about them things there, you know. Blackheads at this age.
Blackheads and whiteheads are very common in any age. It just depends on certain things. It just depends on, like, you know, again, what are you doing with your pores? Is it hormonal? Are you cleaning your face properly? Stuff like that. It could
exfoliating and that.
Over exfoliating can cause it as well. Well, whiteheads anyway.
Wait, what's over exfoliating?
So this is you just using loads of exfoliating products like over and over again for no reason, and basically it kind of just damages your skin barrier, and you often just start to break out. Your skin can become red, sensitized.
Are you supposed to exfoliate every day?
No. Well, that's the thing. Our skin naturally exfoliates by itself. So every 28 days, you know, your dead skin cells automatically come off. You think about when you wash your face, even if you wash your face with your hands or washcloth, that is a very gentle form of exfoliation. Even shaving is a form of exfoliation as well. So we are constantly always exfoliating anyway. So when you use these kind of acids or serums that exfoliate, it's just to give you that kind of added, you know, brightness, or like just get rid of dead skin cells.
Yeah, because I remember when I first started watching The Breakfast Club before they blew up.
Oh yeah.
And like Charlemagne kept talking about like the discoloration of his skin, and as they got bigger, you started to see a skin change, innit?
Yeah.
Like, and he was accused of bleaching and all of these things, and he was like, "Nah, I just see a very good dermatologist."
Yeah.
But he obviously doesn't, you know, like get into it. But he started to lose the dark patches, and you know, his whole face was just one tone. So obviously, like, people are just like, "Rah, like what, you bleaching."
It's an easy thing to throw at him, but just because I saw small changes when like I had a better diet and I started paying attention a bit more to what I was doing in regards to routine, that it's possible. I don't know to extent. Maybe you got a little extra help, a little brightening. Who knows? But
I don't think
I would lean to like him not bleaching. I don't think he did.
Yeah. I think, you know, when we talk about
type of carrot light in the corner.
I'm so dead. I'm so dead.
It's like, oh, big interview, Jay-Z.
I'm finished. But I think, you know, when we talk about bleaching, I think people need to understand that bleaching is actually, there's lightening and maybe brightening, which depending on where you're from, you can use them interchangeably. But this is talking about like you are disrupting melanin production, right? So it's not even like you're disrupting your existing melanin, you're disrupting the enzymes that can cause an overproduction of melanin.
Are you scientific?
Bleaching, however, is you killing and destroying those skin cells. Like, they will never come back, right? So when you bleach, you see that difference. This is why you start to see like people go grey, their skin is really uneven. And I think people need to be very careful with that, because like bleaching is a very, like, you know, you're talking about mercury, steroids, Like, you know, if someone bleaches, believe me, you will know they bleach.
Oh yeah, we see them. We see them aunties and uncles in the
With the
bathroom.
dark hands on
Exactly.
Yeah, and they got that redness in the face and that. Yeah.
The redness, their skin is literally is just off.
That's God punishing them.
You know what it is,
I mean,
like,
that's their dead skin cells gone.
like I will run the jokes here, but I'm leaning more towards now feeling sorry for them more than anything, innit?
Yeah,
Obviously here,
because
I
of
think
the conditioning.
over here, I think, especially within our communities, we definitely see it, but we, especially with us, our generation, internet, you look at like, bro, how could you even attempt to do that? But if you're going to back home and that, those people are still dealing with a lot more conditioning, a hell of a lot more. So like,
Do you know?
I feel mad sorry for them, and on one hand, it might sound crazy to say out loud, I do almost understand it. If you've been conditioned that white is right, or the lighter you are, you're more likely to get the job. People are playing the hand that they've been dealt, because they see, okay, cool, if I do this thing, I could get further in life, innit?
Absolutely.
And if you're getting positive reaction from it, then you almost justified, even though, like I said, you're damaging, harming your skin, and just as a black person, like the historical context of doing it is wild to me. I understand it. Like, who's probably a big example? What's
Even with that,
Donet's name? Bobrisky.
I think people just don't realise. I feel like people don't realise just how dangerous it is. There's a lady that went to my dad's church. She, I promise you, she was like way, way darker than me before, and now I'd say she was probably like maybe even Bob Risky's colour, and she was quite wealthy. So when I tell you her colour was like clean, but she got pregnant, she had twins, she had to have a C-section because she had complications. She was in hospital for quite a while after she had her kids, because it just, the chemicals in the bleach, they just ruin the integrity of your skin. So they're trying to stitch her up. Her skin's like paper. It's just ripping. So now she's hemorrhaging. They're trying to do all sorts of stuff. And I think these are the things that people don't think about. And even if you, with a lot of people, they kind of just assume that if you stop using the cream, your skin will go back to normal. It doesn't. That's like a whole other problem in itself. And there's there is definitely that school of thought that if you are lighter skinned, you're more attractive. And like, my mum's really fair. My mum's really, really, really fair. And I've had people say to me, verbatim, when are you going to start using cream? And I'm like, ma'am, we're in church, we're trying to do benediction, and you're asking me about cream. I really don't understand.
Oh shit, grandma, benediction.
And like, I was probably about 13, 14, and this lady said to me, it's one of those things that I'll never forget. She said, when are you going to start using cream? Don't you want to be like clean and fair like your mum? Don't you want to be pretty like your mum?
Clean and fair.
Yeah, you know those terms. And I'm really grateful that like my dad was very deliberate in like showing my brothers and I that my mum, if you look at Africa, or where we come from anyway, as a generally people look like us. People don't tend to look like my mum. My mum is the one that is different. And so I never felt that pressure to bleach or to try and make myself lighter. But for a lot of people, and like from a female's perspective, there's so much, or back then anyway, when, you know, we were talking about Yinka Bodyline, when they had the two across the road, and there was so much pressure to be clean and fair and light.
Boy, 2 shops across the road, and boy, they had stuff in there, and the aunties were in there full force, getting themselves patterned for Ovation magazine. That generation.
Don't do this.
If you're from Nigeria, you know what I'm talking about, and you're from South, it was a pandemic really in the streets, but there was like, I think it has, from what I can see, got better. There was a time period where like bare of my aunties was trying to cream in that, bruv. You know?
I think it's also interesting because you said, you know, older generations, but I mean, it still exists in our generation, just in different ways. I think, you know, very much like we see these conversations about colorism, right?
Of course, yeah.
We see about light skin versus dark skin women, and I think, you know, we do live in a society where, you know, colorism is an issue. It's undeniable, and we need to think about, you know, the actual psychological impact it does have on people, more so women than men, 100%. But, you know, that kind of need to become desirable pushes people to do things such as like bleach their skin.
Which is why I was saying earlier, like, we're going to run our jokes regardless, but why I'm leaning more to the empathy side. It's more of like I feel sorry for you. Like I look at it almost like it's a mental disease. Like there's something you're dealing with a lot. Like for you to go and do that.
There's a documentary on Netflix. I'll double check the name, but I think it's called Skin. Okay. And it had Bob Risky on it as well, actually.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And they were just speaking to different people that bleached, why they bleached, how they got into it and whatnot. And there was a lady who was actually crying, just saying, like, I really wish that I could stop. But she's now, like, in between a rock and a hard place because you've gotten yourself to this point and you now just have to maintain because... Yeah. I mean, it's not even really an option to go back. But I think where, yes, colorism is a problem and there's no glossing over that, I think nowadays there's definitely, not to say that it makes it any better, but I think there's a lot more focus now on the pro-black movement. So you find that you've got a safe space, if you will, for people to be able to go to. You're seeing like different movements where they're celebrating their melanin and this is my skin and whatnot.
Black
so
girl magic.
Yeah, black girl magic and my melanin's popping. So I think, yes, it definitely is still a problem. But compared to, you know, when we were growing up, so to speak, there's not that like in your face bleach.
See,
yeah.
The thing is, I would almost kind of disagree, you know, because I think, and again, this is just, you know, anecdotal. Like, I think that it's a bit more in your face. It's just more persuasive language, like lightening creams and people using makeups that are 5 times different, not their color, 5 times lighter than them, and it's been done in a very different type of way. But I think the impact that is still there, because even when, and I see this on the timeline, like dark-skinned women come together to celebrate themselves as they rightly should, and someone comes in there and just throws a bomb of negativity. And I think, you know, it also depends on what area you live in and like your support system. So like I also mentor like a lot of kids, and you know, a majority of the kids I mentor are girls, and a majority of them tend to be dark-skinned girls. And when we do have these kind of live conversations, these are the kind of topics that come up. And, you know, it's really painful to see a young 13, 14-year-old girl kind of devalue themselves based on their skin color, right? And compare themselves to, you know, their lighter counterparts in these sessions. And, you know, we're talking about girls in school uniform. Like, honestly, this should be one of the last things on their mind. But these are the kind of conversations that I'm starting to have with them. And it's really upsetting because, you know, they start talking about like, buying makeup and foundation and all these things that make them use lighter. They're using like Snapchat filters, which are literally distorting their image and their coloring, and it's just, to me, I think it's even more of a problem because it's like there are now more options. And I think that becomes even worse because as people start to use these filters and whatever, they then want to try and mirror that image in real life.
So are you saying, if I'm hearing, is it a bit more covert than overt than possibly? Because like it's the way it's like that language has always been there. Like I've definitely seen creams in Aunt's house that said lightning. It doesn't say bleach with exclamation mark.
Toning.
Toning, bright. That's been there because nobody wants to feel like they're actually doing the mad thing.
Yeah.
They want to go through the back door with it. But stuff like the filters, just a little, get your nose a little bit smaller.
But that's how it starts.
But I'm saying that, about like doing that subtly. We know when.
But it's not subtle. If you think about it, it's not like I have like a few friends. Okay, I'm not even going to say friends like that, but people that I know.
Yeah.
That yes, there are instances where someone may, you know, change color. Right. Some people get darker and some people get lighter as they get older.
Yeah.
But it's not the kind of amount where we're saying that you went from my color to looking like Sierra overnight. Like, you know what I mean? And you see those changes, but it's done in such a way whereby there's better technology and treatments. Like, I know, for example, a clinic that I went to get a facial, they do stuff like actual shots to lighten your skin, which in theory is supposed to be much safer. People will do that. And then people will throw on like a makeup which is lighter. And I didn't even know that there was such thing as body makeup. Do you know what I mean? And people do all these things, and then you just realize, well, and what happens is that it gets to the stage where the filter and the makeup is not enough.
Yeah, but I think with that conversation, it's also really important not to conflate the issue of people having like body dysmorphia and stuff, and I throw that term out there very loosely, or having an issue with the way their nose looks, I don't think that is something that is specific to dark-skinned women. Yes, it is something that dark-skinned women go
just
through.
To clarify, so I was just giving those examples, but I'm talking more about color. So when I think about, I'm talking about like the filters that like literally shift your color, right? So the stuff with like the nose, and like even if it's like, you know, from BBLs to whatever, like that, I completely agree, is a different conversation about like body dysmorphia. But when it comes to coloring, these things exist, and my point is that it does get to a stage where that filter will no longer be enough, right? Because there are even like skin influencers that I know that I look at their pictures and I'm like, I've seen you in real life. You are not this light. Like, no matter how much light, sunlight, glow, you're not this light. You know what I mean? And that thing is very subtle, right? Yeah. Because it's even the appearance that they want to put out. They want to make it seem like they're lighter.
Which is what we're leaning to, what we were saying about earlier, about what is the accepted standard of beauty, which is lighter, brighter, closer to whiteness, isn't it? And like I said, where I'm at currently, next week it could be full smoke for you. You're crazy. How can you not love yourself? I'll be on my Dr. Umar, but I lean more towards empathy, because, bro, if like you can't even exist in a world in your natural, truest state, there's something wrong in it. And it's because 100%. It's because and when you talk about the young 13-year-old girls, we weren't saying earlier that where it's been fixed, innit? I just feel like maybe what we might be paying attention to online, we're seeing a shift, and it might just be because you're curating your timeline more. If you don't want to see certain things and you just want to see the black girl magic content, you want to see natural hair movement, you're gonna then be affirmed more and more in it. But outside is still outside, innit? But in your space, you're just trying to make sure that what you see and what you soak in is more positive. And I think really, if you want to put full stop in it, I think the conversation just being had more and it's louder, in my opinion, than before, innit? Because we're not saying anything new that hasn't been said before. I just feel like we're a bit more on it from what I can see. But, you know, use the hashtag Offthecuffpod and share your thoughts. Let us know what you feel about just colorism, bleaching in general, and what like you feel is going on out there. Because I feel like it's not less than a weekly topic thing. It's something that we're can always revisit, because it's not going to stop.
Yeah.
You know, and things like documentary skin, having people like your Bob Risky, whatever. You know, there's different people out there that you look at, problematic or not, but you're like, that's part of society's problem, innit? Yeah. But it's just happening in our face, innit? So